Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. We're here with our friend Trader Cobb. How you going, Craig?
Yeah, good mate. How are you?
Good. So there's plenty happening the last week or so. There's been some really bullish activity. I'll bring the charts up in a sec, and we're looking for a bit of overhead resistance. We've had a bit of a pullback. What have you seen just in general lately before we look at the charts, and what are you noticing?
Mate, I'm noticing everything I want to see in a market, to be honest with you. I'm seeing higher highs, higher lows. I'm seeing round numbers tested and broken. I'm seeing bullish candles in the right area. We'll get to why in just a minute, but in all honesty, um, I've been trading for a long time, and I can tell you right now, I've not been this bullish on this particular market since the we tested 3,000. We had the second pullback, and there was a small bullish candle in that same zone. You can go back and look at that chart. I feel like we're in the same position now. From there, we went. I think it was about 5,800, if I guessed correctly,
Yeah.
and then we went to 20. So I'm there. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. And is this for the altcoin chart setting up, or are we more looking at Bitcoin and we've got a feeling that everything's going to follow once we go?
You know, the best thing about it is I did my top 100 scan this morning with my members, and literally, and I mean, like, no shit, literally, every single token within my tradable list, which is, it's got to have a certain amount of volume, apart from Steam it, because Steam it had a massive day yesterday and pulled back slightly today. Every single token had a pullback into that cradle zone. So yes, the entire market, the entire, the entire market is poised and ready. We break the high of that goddamn candle, we are moving.
Right.
That is my
We'll jump
absolute
over.
certainty.
We'll jump over the chart. So all I've got on the chart here is the weekly pattern, and a lot of people are looking for that equilibrium pattern and looking to set a lower high on the weekly and have a pullback. So now I'll just go to the daily chart. I had this overhead resistance drawn in last week's technical analysis, and we've pulled in, we've hit that, and we've pulled back. Now, why did just quickly? I'll let you speak in a second, mate. But why I think we've pulled back is we'd moved so fast, so fast. We got overbought on the daily RSI. Now I'm just going to go to the 4-hour RSI. Again, we were up there, in the 80s. We'd run out of steam by the time we got there, and even on the hourly, we'd run out of steam. Now that's sort of my trading method and what I'm looking at and why I believe we've run out of steam. So, mate, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are the way it pulled back. It's really important to look, for me personally, into the detail of the pullback. So often we'll see a pullback on Bitcoin. I mean, we'll talk about Bitcoin because that's the subject we're on. Bitcoin will pull back, bam. There'll be some sort of FUD, some sort of news, and it would be one big, massive candle straight down. We didn't see that. As a matter of fact, if you've got access to pull the charts up now, mate, you pull up a
Yep.
15-minute chart. I'll show you something.
Yep.
You pull a 15-minute chart up and you have a look at the pullback. Okay, so go from the high of that move and pull it back. Notice how we saw a fall, then it pulled back in, then it fell, then it pulled back in, then it fell. Then we consolidate after the pullback again. We consolidated. Now, what that says to me is that there was a group of sellers, but it wasn't a cataclysmic event. It wasn't any one thing that made itself. This is profit taking. It is so clear and obvious to me. This is just natural market movements. It's natural progression of buyers and sellers. People were taking profits. They had a good move. They were extended. They were getting closer to 10,000. They thought, well, we're at 9.7. Happy to take some cheese off the table. The way the market played out on that retracement on the lower time frames gave me very, very big confidence that we would hold. We did. Now we're sitting at a point where, unfortunately for me, from one of my trading strategies, the cradle trade, the candle's a little bit too big. But I'm saying that the way that this market pulled back, the way it consolidated, and the way it sits right now,
Yeah.
not only on the daily does it look bullish, but the activity on those lower timeframes, the waves of buying and selling, I'm very bullish.
Yeah, and I hate to jump around, but you know how we've spoken in the past about how I like to keep an eye on all the methods and see what other people are talking about. And one of the things I like and what I've seen in Bitcoin and crypto over the years are these Elliott wave style. Even if you're not good and you're not good with those wave counts, don't worry about it. But all it means is that when we have a leg up off the bottom, exactly what you've just described can be a wave two when people take profit and people are expecting that drift down and a correction. And what I noticed was every crypto technical analysis channel I subscribe to saying, hey, we're going to have a pullback. to 8,000 to the mid 7,000s, and then we're off to the races. And time again over the years, Bitcoin, I say, no gentleman's entry, because everyone says, oh, I'll buy in on the pullback and it'll all be easy and rosy. And when everyone is like, oh, I can't wait to buy cheaper on this pullback and then it's going to take off, Bitcoin doesn't give you what you want sometimes. It keeps going. Now, let's be open-minded. Anything can happen in the way of FUD and news, and maybe we do correct. We've got to be open-minded, so we could be wrong. But from everything I'm seeing too, it is set up to really take off higher in the next few weeks.
Mate, look, each to their own. And look, I'll be the first person to say I've been wrong before. My job as a trader is not to be right all the time. It's to work the probabilities. It's to use the experience that I've got to make decisions. I am effectively trying to predict the future. Let's be honest. That's what I'm doing. As a trader, I'm predicting the future and managing my risk. The two things that I do.
Yeah.
Looking at this now, and I don't know how long everyone else has been in the markets, but I've seen this a million times. Not only has the daily got exactly what I want to see, and keep in mind, I want to see the high of that daily candle broken. Now, if you're looking at the Coinbase charts on Bitcoin on the daily, the high of that level is 9318. We get to 9320, and we've broken yesterday's high, and therefore we've got what I need to see the market move higher. Flick back to the weekly, right?
Yeah.
Let's flick back to the weekly. Now, you have a look at this chart. If you want to be a historical price action analyst, then let's get the historical. Let's look at price action. The last time we saw bullish candles, breaking bullish candles, was way back in that big run up. We've got one green candle, which was the February candle. Then that broke up with the March candle. Then that broke up for the January candle got broken up by the February candle, got broken up by the March candle. Currently, the April candle's broken up too. We haven't seen a succession of candles, weekly candles breaking and closing bullish, i.e. green, higher than where it opened, since we saw that very big run. Now, that's significant to me also. Jump further out to the monthly.
Yeah.
If you want to look at the monthly, most people know, if they've listened to anything I've done about this cradle zone, or in and around that 10 and 20 period moving average. You look at that monthly candle, where that is right now. That is right there, smack bang in that cradle zone. It's a bullish candle. It's too big to trade. But look where it pulled back to. It pulled back to its equilibrium point. Now, we're about to finish the month of April, and that goddamn candle is going to finish bullish unless something major happens. We break the high of that bullish candle, which I think the high of that candle will get up to 10,000. We break the high of that monthly candle. We break the high of 10,000, and let's go. Okay. I really am bullish this market right now.
Beautiful. Cool. That's probably all we're looking at. Like I said, anything can happen in the next few hours or so. Maybe we have a bit more of a cool off. But the other thing, just quickly, over the weekends, I know a lot of people think that we get these sell off over the weekends, but when we have sort of momentum, sometimes it does the opposite as well. And we just really see that retail demand, traders that have left their work at Wall Street or whatever, the new paradigm of people that are working one market during the day, getting involved with crypto after hours or on weekends. It shows that there's new people coming into the market, I think, when we see buying throughout a weekend, which is so positive. So watch for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that little Wall Street spin, I've been fortunate enough to be interviewing a few people on my podcast at the moment. And I had a really in-depth conversation with a gentleman today, Joel, who has been a institutional fund manager for the last 20 odd years. He's in disruptive technologies. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain is the space he's in right now. He is there at the coalface dealing with these institutional investors. We talked about what the market needs to move forward to get going and to bring that money in. He is there now, pushing the buttons. It needs to have more to get the big influx. Look at Goldman Sachs. They're now saying that they've got some crypto guru trader who's at the forefront as their blockchain expert, crypto expert. They have we know they bought into Poloniex through a subsidiary company that they own. Goldman Sachs have now come out and said, put their hand up. We have hired an expert in digital currencies. That means they're putting the GS symbol in this space. They're the first to do it. It's absolutely massive. We're going to see a big move soon. When it's going to happen, I can't pinpoint it, but I'll tell you what, if we break the high of that daily candle I'm looking at right now, I think that could be the very beginning of it.
Yeah, and I hate to give really long-term predictions, but if we start to see bullish activity now, as you say, while Goldman Sachs and Circle and all these people are building the infrastructure to get the money in, if we're already making new all-time highs before the infrastructure and the smart money's really flooded in, it bodes even more bullish for the long term. So It's been a lot of negativity the past few months. Maybe we've been very optimistic in this video and a bit more bullish.
Well, I wouldn't say overly optimistic. I like to be fairly objective. I'm just reading what I'm seeing, and regurgitating what I'm hearing by being in a fortunate position to be speaking with some pretty interesting people. And I can't build a case for bearishness now. Don't forget, I can make money when the market falls too. I don't have a bias for either direction. I prefer to see the market go high because everyone does well. You know what? Turkeys flying in hurricanes. I'm all for that because everyone being prosperous is better than the select few. I'm all for bullish markets, but I can't build a case for bearishness right now. I just cannot do it.
Awesome. Well, let's see how we fared when we catch up again next week.
Let's do that.
See you, mate.
Thanks, mate.